So the topic of radios comes up quite a bit on the Facebook forums, and I was just going to show you guys what my setup looks like. I run a Baofeng. This is a UV8R 8-watt radio. There's an adapter right here on the top, and I'll get to that here in just a second. And then here is a set of rugged radio headset, and this one goes behind my head, and then a little Velcro strap rests on top. So these radios are probably about $60 or $70 on Amazon. You can get the cheaper UV5Rs. They're about 20-30 bucks a piece. They work just fine, just a little bit less wattage. They're probably all going to talk pretty close to the same. The only reason why I like these is because you got to be real careful when you're buying the radios on Amazon, because with the FCC rule changes that they made, China is trying to stay compliant somewhat with what the FCC recommends, and so the GMRS and FRS frequencies, as well as the rugged radio frequencies, aren't usually covered on the Baofeng radios unless you get the ones that show that it covers the specific ranges. So when you go to buy these on Amazon, you need to make sure that it says it in the title up top and in the fine print inside, because I bought two UV5Rs recently and they could not get into the rugged radio frequencies or the FRS and GMRS frequencies. FRS and GMRS, for those of you that don't know, are the little handheld walkie-talkies that you buy from Walmart and that people just talk back and forth on. These will get you on all, I believe there's 22 channels total. FRS and GMRS, just one of them only has like 16 channels and one goes up to 22. There's all the privacy channels and stuff that you get. I don't program into these radios, just the main channel to each one, so that if you're riding with friends, as long as they don't have their privacy codes on, you can talk back and forth to anybody. And these are actually ham radios, so you can get on inside and make your own frequency if you wanted to. Now the ham radio guys are going to go crazy in the comments about it, but you know, it is illegal unless you got a ham operator's license, which I do actually have my technical, so, and my wife has her general license. So moving on from that, on my radio, the reason why it's got an adapter is because I run an external antenna. This is made by a company called Tram. You can also get these on Amazon. They're not real expensive. It is a dual band antenna, so that it can get on the VHF and UHF, which is the frequencies that are covered by the GMRS, FRS, and then the UHF, or I'm sorry, the VHF is the rugged radio frequencies. So I just ran this inside the car. It just drops down right here and sits behind me. And then I just put my radio, I've got a bag right here in between the seats, and I just set the radio inside this little pocket, and it does pretty good. Now my wife, she runs the same, I've got the same radio for her, but she just runs a regular antenna on hers. Now this is an aftermarket antenna. I do recommend, if you're going to just run straight antennas on the radios themselves, that you do invest and get a little bit better antenna than the stock one, because the stock ones are junk. You're not going to get out real far with those. At least with the aftermarket antennas, you'll get a little bit more send and receive on the radios. Her setup, she basically just sets it inside this little pouch that's in this bag that we have in the door. And then when she ain't wearing her headset and she will get out of the car, she either rests it right there on the back of the headrest, or she'll put it on the side of the door right here. But she did express that she wants a hanger like I've got over there for mine. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm not, or that I'm forgetting about. This little adapter. If you run the setup like I do, you'll need to get this little adapter. that fits on the bottom of the radio and converts it to the end that's on the antenna up there. I do get a lot more range, send and receive, with this antenna on the back of the car. So if you're wanting to just talk car to car and you're close to each other, then this would probably be just fine for you. I'm sorry, just the ones on the radios. If you're wanting to get out just a little bit further, if you're riding and you get lost, this will actually get you out a little bit further, and you'll be able to hear them a lot better. There's a lot of stuff that comes across the radio that my wife don't hear, but I pick up with mine. But the radios work really well. There's a program called Chirp, C-H-I-R-P, that you download off the internet for free. And you can use it to program these radios. It's very simple to do. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube that teaches you how to program these radios on what they call simplex. Simplex is simply when you key up and you let go of the button and you receive, it is all done on the same frequency. If you get into repeaters, when you key up and transmit, you transmit on one frequency. When you let go of the button, it switches to an offset of like negative 0.650 or something like that, and receives on a different frequency. So whenever it goes up, it hits the tower, and then it converts the signal and sends it back on a different frequency. That's only if you're getting into some real serious stuff, but I don't think you guys need to worry about that. The Chirp program, when you buy these radios, if you're wanting to program them yourself, make sure that you buy a real OEM programming cable for the Baofangs, because if you don't and you get a clone, then it won't program the radio. I've sat there one day and beat my head against the wall for about an hour or 2 hours trying to program a radio, and it wouldn't program, and that was because I had a clone cable and I didn't know it. So just make sure when you go to buy a programming cable that you do get an OEM programming cable for the Baofeng radio, and it will program real easy. Initially, when you set it up to program, you'll have to write down, you look them up online, the frequencies for the rugged radio channels and the frequencies for the FRS and GMRS channels. And then you have to type each frequency into the Chirp program manually. And it's roughly 45 frequencies that you type in. Not hard to do, just takes a little bit of time to do it initially. Once you get it in there and you program the radio, then you upload it to the radio and it saves it, and then you're good. The next radio that you put in to do, you just tell it to download from the radio, which there's nothing on it, and then you tell it to upload the frequency list that you got programmed and saved, and then it'll upload in just a few seconds. So anyways, like I said, the Chirp programs, you can find them online, the videos on how to do them. And if you have any problems, you can comment down there below, and if it's something I can help you with, I'll be more than glad to help you with it.